There you go.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day, friends. Free Enterprise fans around the world, we're getting a little something different today. This is the first ever TPL, no, not toilet paper, the Tournament Preparation League, coming to you basically as a training exercise. What would runners do when presented with seeds? How would they react? What's their thought process? Think of it as kind of a training montage live to you. My name is Possum Orpheus, one of the club captains, and I am joined going to be running air quotes against Plumeria Knight, the wonderful Plumeria Knight, and being guided in the booth by Scythe Marshal. Gentlemen, feel free to introduce yourself.
Plumeria,
Hi.
you first.
I'm Plumeria Knight. Been playing Free Enterprise for about 2 or 3 years now, and pretty excited to do this little experiment here.
And I'm Scythe Marshal. I'll be giving a little bit of commentary on the seed and asking leading questions for our two runners today. No, this is not a game show. Yes, it is a teaching experience. Teaching and learning. So, Possum, did you have anything else you wanted to say in terms of admin stuff?
I just wanted to thank Y2 Sky behind the scenes as the club co-captain as we're about to get started here. Big shout out to him helping with all of the behind the scenes stuff, a lot of the flag sets, and a lot of the learning opportunities in play. So huge thank you to Y2 Sky behind the scenes. Thanks to Oscar restreaming and Scarcer tracking. But let's go.
Here we go, folks. All right.
All right.
So we have a Rose to start, and everyone's favorite. So this is yes, of course, that is the favorite. So of course we see Mom Bomb at Bagan, but more importantly, we see a Tella start. We also have a Sand Ruby Kienum. So at this point, what are you two thinking? Possum, go first.
I want to know who my characters are. With 3 characters on, I obviously know that Sid is one of my characters for my objective. Rosa is one because we start with her. Tell is another. That means that we know 3/5 of our party already. And to be totally honest, that's not exactly an exciting 3 characters with only 5 available. So we're hoping for a little bit of action, looking for characters early. And not finding it on my side, but that's okay. We'll get there.
Yeah, and Plumeria, what are you thinking about? You landed at Baron, so what drove you here?
Yeah, so I'm of the same mind as Possum here. Really want to know the characters, and especially with the Sand Ruby start, we've got access to, if there is a restricted character in Edge or Foo, we can pick them up possibly. The Baron start was just because you get a little loot. The treasure settings are standard, so it's better to prioritize density. And you can also get a little bit of shopping done at Baron, but nothing that really excited me.
All right, well, high five as both of you are in Mysidia currently.
Not anymore.
Well, okay. Barely not anymore. So while we're sort of in the early stages, I did want to ask a little bit about the objectives that you saw. So we had 3 boss hunts, 2 of which were not really pleasant, and we saw 2 character checks. So what, like, on the cover, even before you started to the seed, are you planning to do a specific subset of those objectives, or what are you thinking about?
I mean, for me, I'm thinking that Sid and Rosa are not restricted characters. They're probably going to show up as freebies. So realistically, I'm boss hunting 2 of 3 bosses. This means that I need to be prepared for basically anything, from 1200 strats all the way up to a D-Machine grind. That where those bosses are determines everything, because I know the character objectives are going to be completed very easily. So I have to keep a very open mind and keep good notes as well. So, like documenting where my Cure 3s were, for example. They're in Mysidia and things like that. Since Plumeria was already there, that's not really a spoiler, I hope. If it is, so be it. But things like that are running through my mind, like keeping all of my options open for what my Z plan is, depending where those bosses are.
Right, and for the purpose of reminding the audience, normally we don't have both of our runners on the call as they're running the seed. This is more of a showcase than a race, so there will be spoilers. Hopefully not huge spoilers, but we'll take them as they come. So this is a question that I've sort of always thought. When you have Tella, is it worth it looting all of Watery Pass, like going through the whole way?
I think so. With it being T standard, I just want density, and there's a fair number of chests going throughout all of Watery. You could do the front and the back and save like 15 seconds, but I'm just gonna go do the whole thing personally, and then focus on other places like Damsian as well.
Yeah, it makes sense.
For me, I think T standard is just a little too much to prioritize the density. So especially with that duplicate Rosa there waiting, I just decided not to bother. Since I also wanted to visit Kaipo.
Oh, time to take a drink. Anytime you see an Odin-only shop, it is mandatory to take a sip of your finest beverage, whether that be water or other beverages. So water we drink.
Yeah, sparkling water on my end.
That Odin summon I saw could come in handy. Just not yet, from what I've seen.
So, I don't know about Possum, but I'm getting real suspicious about the character selection today. And who is waiting for us in the restricted spots.
Yeah, I am too, because we seem to be, at least I seem to be missing a few warm bodies here.
As a reminder for folks, the character settings are C standard, distinct 5, no dupes. So this means we know there are exactly 5 characters, and you can't have copies. The fun part is that we're looking at, we haven't seen much in the way of characters who aren't Sid, Rose, or Tella. And so what this could mean is that both of our characters happen to be the restricted Edge and Fu. Unlikely, but possible.
And worth noting also, Cecil is not on the restricted list. Part of that is because on T standard, good luck getting holy swords. It's a big old crapshoot. So yeah. Also, you're gonna see, because I'm bad at inventory, a lot of the inventory boss. So deal with it.
I think there are many of us who fall into exactly that boat, so I wouldn't. It's something to keep an eye out. Pressing R often is good.
Nope.
I mean, sometimes.
With junk not being on, you actually kind of want to keep all the junk so you can sell it.
That is true, but with junk being on, you have a whole bunch of tier 1 items in your inventory that don't really give much benefit. That's sure an item.
It is.
You like that, Plumeria?
I'm gonna go check that out right away.
Well, that's what I get for not equipping things.
While
Actually,
Possum
let's
has a very
expand.
long fight.
Uh-oh. Oh, I'm already hit the inventory boss. See, this is the issue with junk.
Oh, I did that already. Don't feel bad.
Usually I hit more shops. Sell it off.
So I guess another question. So since we're doing a lot of looting and shopping, what sorts of items and equipment are you looking for in addition to like figuring out who your characters are? Like what do you want from this party? Oh, aside from a curse string, you always want that.
That's it.
Fair.
I've got 2 anchors and half of a warm body in Rosa right now. I want a curse ring.
I mean, I've already got a dwarf axe for Sid, so I just want a heroine robe. That's what I'm looking for.
And of course, heroines are very, very good.
Dang.
They are tier 5. And so you can find them just in untrapped chests on T standard. So because of the checks that people chose to do, we see a little bit of divergence here. Don't want to say too much, I suppose, but Plumeria is coming up on an interesting piece of information. That is interesting.
I think it was pretty predictable.
Well, chat's calling for a refund. I don't know. Hey, Siren, what's the refund?
Refund machine broke.
Refund machine broke.
That's either a really good sign or a really bad sign.
Best thing about Tella is he has exit.
Exit is a very good spell.
Power Staff is a good spell too. I berserked my Sid. Yeehaw!
Ooh, chonky hits from Sid there. I think you both picked up the rune axe. That's a big 1100.
I always forget the magic defense here is actually really high.
Yeah, you don't notice it in the vanilla game, but the Demas spot has surprisingly high magic defense. Also surprisingly high spell power, I guess, to scare you a little bit with Cold Mist.
I mean, makes sense, I suppose.
Though they have to teach you about counters eventually.
Make sure those missed counters land. I don't think they can actually miss, but
I feel like I've seen them miss. Maybe not on base equips, DKC and Kane, but anyway. So we see at this point our runners are starting to retrace each other's steps for the most part. Possum is didn't quite get a quick finish to the officer fight, but that's okay. Plumeria just getting the ribbon out of the Rydia's mom check. And now Possum has found the hook.
Huh. Not exactly the team I want for a hook route.
No, and that actually does a pretty decent job of segueing into a question I did want to ask. So, in this early game with the current party, what are you like? What's your plan for dealing damage? Clearly, we've seen Sid hit things. That's a good plan. And if we happen to find a heroin robe Rosa is a good plan. But aside from that, what's your plan for doing things like getting through the hook route, or even tackling some of the bosses that we'll find here on the overworld?
Once Tella's online, we good.
I would prefer Rosa to get strong, but yeah, Tella can sling spells. Sid can berserk with a rune axe pretty well. I think I forgot to check Hobbs. Do that in a second.
That said, both of you did go to Fabul before going to Ordeals. With this party and Sid being pretty strong, I am sort of curious about that choice.
It's an easy check. A little bit more XP.
Yeah, it's the XP. The Ordeals bosses can be the toughest. It depends on who gets put where, but Fabul tends to be an easier place to go than Ordeals.
Makes sense. I suppose I have been... I've had some issues taking Ordeals probably too early, so...
Back attack Ordeals and Baron in 2 are the bane of many a runner. I generally don't like to do them until they're kind of last on the list, if you will. Those two spots, like if you roll Magus Sisters, for example, now obviously it's a little different, having Runak Sid, but if you roll Magus Sisters at back attack, if you roll like a Baigen at, Baron in 2, those can be real spooky bosses. So I like to try to have as much power as I can before going to them generally. Kind of stick to that Hobbs and Fabul. Fade Antlion if I don't have an exit caster, but yeah.
Interesting. That's very interesting. I am mildly surprised at the character that we found on Ordeals.
I am too.
The Seed Generator has jokes for us. So, I see. Oh, okay. Do I like this boss? Okay, that's a perfectly acceptable boss. So, one thing that can happen sometimes is you happen to find the correct items for the bosses that you're fighting. So, at Fabul, we saw a clever use of an hourglass because without Be No Free on, you can stop the blue dolls, which have more HP, and so it's pretty easy fight from there. Or you could just throw a Zeus Rage, if you happen to have one. I don't know if Plumeria picked one up.
I picked up 15 Thor Rages.
Thor Rages.
That'll work.
Yeah, so Thor Rage is not so effective at destroying dolls in most of the boss spots. Good, not great. Well, that was a noise.
Wonderful. So you're getting like live listens into how,
oh no. Fiery. Or no, it was let me read chat and call out the person. It was not Fiery. Sorry, Fiery. Scarcerer, our tracker.
Yeah.
Making a very obnoxious play. Or call out in the chat. You great fight. I'm not going to spoil it because Plumeria is going to be here soon. Plumeria using the same strategy on the D-Lunars as Possum did, throw Cure 3s.
D-Lunars are the worst.
Lad.
Oh no. Okay.
Yep. Here we go. So, as we can see, both runners are in the back attack Valvalis fight.
Yay.
So, Possum, you've been in this fight for about a minute and a half. Tell us about how you're feeling and what your plan is for this fight.
I'm honestly fine. I'm aiming with Rosa. She's in the middle slot, so it's actually not impacting the accuracy as negatively as it normally would. And Sid zerked with the Earth Hammer is actually dealing damage sometimes because of the extra multiplier compared to the Rune Axe from having the plus 10 strength or plus 5 strength. So
I think Earth Hammer is plus 5, yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing some damage sometimes with Sid, and that is more than I expected.
Yeah, so this fight, definitely not the best fight for this party, to say the least. And so, as Possum said, aim is really good. Center slot aim, not so good, but it's a lot better than Rosa actually just trying to physical attack through Val's. I think Val has something like 4 defense multipliers at 99% here.
Okay, my Sid can't hit at all. I did not pick up the Earth Hammer. I wish Rosa were faster.
My Rosa just popped off for 888 on a crit. Center slot.
Wow.
So, reminder, crits exist in this game. You can't normally tell, especially if we don't play with flash effects, but they up damage, especially for bow users, by a non-trivial amount. And since Rosa is aiming, then Val's evade is completely pointless, and so Rosa's hitting all of her hits for a lot of damage.
Yeah, the TLDR on that fight, though, is it stinks. It's a bad fight.
Wish I had a heroin room.
That makes 2 of us.
Yeah, it makes 3 of us. I wish you both had heroin robes.
Okay. I don't know what equipment Possum has, but I thought I had good equipment. It still took a while.
Just Sammy for Rosa with a karate
same.
gi.
Same here. No karate, though. That's probably the big difference.
Yeah, that extra plus 3 strength might have boosted Possum up a multiplier.
But now I'm happy because Tella's online, and now I feel like I can do all things.
So you can do all things. What is your preferred? Like, we all know Tella is a fairly good utility mage. He can cast almost every spell in the game, and therefore has great utility. What's your plan for using him to deal damage?
Lit 3.
It's a good spell.
Virus. Indirect damage, stone. Because it's not Fusoya, it'll actually land. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. So, just kind of stick him in the back row, steal all the gear that I gave Rydia. And let Tella carry me. Oh, I already gave him a bunch of gear, apparently. Who knew? I didn't.
Well, now you do. So that, speaking of Rydia is on the team. Surprise, we found her on Ordeal, somewhat surprisingly. So obviously our parties are starting to take shape. We found most of the characters. What are you planning to do with Rydia? Because a lot of people are very polarized on Rydia. Either she's useful or she is the anchor, and that's nothing, and there's no in between. What are your plans for Rydia? Maybe start with you, Plumeria.
At the moment, I'm hoping to slingshot her and have Sid be my anchor with the dwarf axe.
Possum?
Yeah, with the rest of this party, it's not really an option to keep her on the ground. So we must simply figure out alternate ways to deal damage. Tella's going to be great for now, but long term, we need Rydia with a good summon, or nuke, one or the other. So Rydia, whether it be by sling or by egg, or by doors, or by any number of things, Rydia's along for the ride as more than an anchor.
Oh god.
So what we've found is Baron Inn is like Paladin in the guard spot, not bad. Even if white is a little bit of an excessive option here. We know the second fight is CPU. So what I saw Possum reset, and normally you would say, why are you resetting Possum? You're wasting time. What's your strategy here?
I reset because I had a Soma drop. And so Tella's destiny is to cast Meteor on these orbs, because I think it's faster than trying to time lit 3s and other things. I don't have the timing per se down here, like I do for back attack. So I'm just going to reset and let Tella channel Meteor, and I know that'll get through, and then I can just kind of sit back and ponder where I'm going to go next.
Meanwhile, we see Plumeria not resetting. I'm not sure if he picked up the Soma drop.
Might have already used it on somebody.
On somebody? I see. So Portel is not being useful. Sid and Rosa are being quite useful. And so in the end, I think Possum is making a pretty decent choice. But Plumeria should get out of this fight in about now. So I think good fights on both ends.
Yeah, but Swag Rocks.
And there's Swag Rocks, everyone's favorite.
I had a Meteor.
But that was just poor planning on my part, not teaching. Or not giving the Soma drop to Tella. And then proceeding to Virus Paled him when I could have just put a Rune Axe on. And I bopped with an Earth Hammer instead. And I was like, I'll just Virus. Like, that didn't make a ton of sense. So...
Right, so the idea here, like, in the end, both runners got through the fight pretty well. The thing to keep in mind is that when you're thinking about how are you going to use your characters effectively, don't do things that negate your plan's effectiveness. All right, so both runners heading over to Troya because, at this point you have the Earth Crystal, chase the Earth Crystal.
And T standard treasuries.
Yeehaw, so I don't think we need to, we could rate them, I guess, at T standard out of 10.
18 chances for a heroin robe.
Hey.
I've seen a lot worse out of 10. Personal rating.
Yeah, I think it's not bad. Plumeria is going to be fairly okay with this treasury.
Gaia hat is actually pretty great, as is the ninja hat.
Yep.
That's money. That's good. That's great. Maybe I won't sling Rydia.
Yeah, any agility manipulation when your party consists of Rydia, Rosa, Sid, and Tella is phenomenal. Like, sign me up for all of it.
Oops.
Because at some point, Sid's going to need a dwarf axe, someone's going to need a ninja hat, and we're going to have to finagle something. It's going to happen.
And nobody on this team is fast. Except Rosa, barely.
I mean, doesn't Rosa end up one agility less than Rydia?
I think you're right.
In the long run?
Yeah.
So, like, even then,
Definitely.
it's super marginal.
But that'll take a while.
True.
No flame dog, so just gonna skip that.
So on some flag sets, you might choose to take the monster box that's in the Tower of Zot. On T standard, and with this party, it's not really like the best thing you could hope for is maybe a Moon Veil or
An adamant would be the best thing.
I think you're right. Aha! So remember, read the flags. Adamants are on in this flag set, and so every monster box is indeed a chance at an adamant armor.
However,
that's a big chance.
The thing is, with T standard, every tier 5 to 8 item is in the pool evenly. If you pull an adamant armor from a trap chest, bless you. Like, you won the lottery. It just... it ain't it.
You could get a Stardust Rod, Artemis Bow. There's a couple good things you could get. But yeah, not a ton.
Swag rocks again for Possum. Tella is... If you have a Soma drop, Tella or the MP glitches on, which isn't on these flags, but if you have a Soma drop, for sure, Meteor is a very, very good spell. It's just slow.
Oh, thank goodness Rosa has Berserk. That's a huge breakpoint for her.
Okay, that's number 5? 6?
Is that 5 Tellas? So many Tellas.
There's going to be more Tellas at the end of the seed than distinct characters. It's just starting to feel like an alchemy seed.
I'm just wondering if we get our objective up here. And I'm doing a lot of menuing, but hopefully we can stop doing the menuing shortly. Not ideal.
Wow.
It's not all Tellas, but it is many Tellas.
I
Many Tellas.
believe. I believe. Yeah!
Whoa, let's go, Tella.
Put your face in the lights. I told y'all. All I need's a Tella.
So this spot is somewhat dangerous at times. It is surprisingly fast
Yeah,
and
I
has
actually wanna-
very high spell power.
Yeah.
I actually want to switch up my anchoring a little bit here, because it is so fast.
But yeah, one of the things, at least for me, when I was starting out playing FE, I hated Tella. I thought he was awful. I thought he was like Edward, but had exit. As I grew more into FE form, if you will, I realized how useful he is. Yes, you have to babysit him, but man, oh man, like, the amount of stuff you can do with Tella is incredible.
I think some of us, well, I'll speak for myself. I acknowledge Tella's utility, and like he's honestly a very good character. It's just sometimes we haven't seen it yet, but sometimes the seed can devolve into, well, we got Tella, we got the Darkness Crystal, go go go. I don't think that's the case this seed. This seed has been very much not D-Machine and Go.
No. D-Machine and Go is fun. There was definitely some thought that we might end up in like a D-Machine and Go situation, especially with the 2 character objectives, but the bosses have decided to, well, harken back to a different club and play the hide-and-seek championship. And they're all doing a very good job so far.
Yeah. So we've full cleared the overworld. Both Possum and Plumeria are diving the hook route. They have no option now.
I think we both skipped one thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I skipped the package boss check.
Yeah.
But I know who the
Package.
character is.
I did not check the character, so I'm going to have to do that later if I don't find Rosa at some point.
So now Plumeria had checked the hook route earlier. So Plumeria's had Fusoya the whole time. Not that Fu really did anything.
Well,
Possum,
it didn't
how
help
do you
at all.
feel about seeing Fusoya?
I'm not thrilled,
Uh-oh.
but it's the risk you take.
Oh, I made a big mistake. I didn't pick up any sirens. I have to go back for those at some point.
I bought an elixir and no sirens.
Okay,
Tell us
so
about
we're
the
on
elixir purchase. There was a question in chat about that.
Yeah, the thought is, what if I run into something like a Baigen and I need multiple Meteos? I don't necessarily trust the Ether 2s to get me there, so I wanted that extra elixir as a just in case.
So speaking of multiple Meteos, those of you who did not run the TPL Season 1 Async 1 of this flag set, so the Async had Antlion at the Rubicant spot, and some of us chose to just sling 3 Meteos, and honestly, it went pretty well. So Tella... Yeah, some of us,
for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, I also punched Antlion a little bit, but Meteos were also thrown.
This is a rough fight.
Yeah, okay.
Lucky targeting.
Oh, huh. About that.
Okay, so we both we know they both know it's Baigen. What's the Plumeria's reaction was appropriate, I think. Ugh, that's not a nice fight. At this point, our both runners have AoE. They both have Leviathan. They both have Quake on Fusoya. So this fight, while kind of terrifying, is remarkably okay. This is the power of anchoring, because of the number of characters who are RA less than 5, and Baigen having 3 targets. The sort of timers work in such a way that you can get your AoEs off pretty okay.
I was hoping for this one.
All right, so we have elements. The elements fight is, it could be somewhat bad, but in this situation, I think we have multiple ways to try and take it out. What's your plan, Plumeria?
I was going to reflect, and then I kind of started direct casting, which is probably a mistake. But I'm going to hopefully get... big mistake. But we'll hopefully recover. We'll just do direct damage. Thanks, Tella.
How much is Tella gonna heal Rubicant for here?
About 1,600.
It could be worse.
We do want to get past this phase pretty quickly, though. The spell power is enough to kill us.
Yeah, the Rubicant phase of elements does party-wide Fire 2, then Fire 3, then Glare. Fire 3 and Glare are the big concerns, especially with 2 party members already down. That reduces the sort of spread damage. I think Fusoya is in trouble here.
It's a good thing I had that wall up, I guess.
For the first 2, yeah. Oof.
This is looking like a reset for me. Yeah. Let's go back to my original plan.
Yeah, so we saw Possumorpheus do reflex strats on elements, so the... Kind of. Well, the idea with this fight is that the phase change is a damage-based trigger, and so you just need to reflect spells, and much like the Zeromus HP refill at the end of the game, you just skip the phase change. Fusoya and also Tella, when he's not sleeping, can do a really good job of dropping a Fire 3 on the Mylon Z phase, and Mylon here is quad weak to fire, and so it does 1 billion damage.
Yeah, so my approach to that fight was I wanted to get a little bit of damage early with Rydia, have Fu reflect a Fire 3, hope that would actually kill. It didn't, so then I was like, well, we'll use one more spell. Maybe could have used Sid to bop with a Rune Axe, but Sid got cursed, and I didn't want to risk tipping.
Yeah, so the interesting part about the phase, I think it prioritizes the... Actually, I'm not sure. Does it... I think it prioritizes the phase change to Mylon to Ruby over the change from the first part of the fight to the Kainatsu Val part of the fight. So even
That's
if you
correct.
do sort of, you get one turn lenience in case you don't actually kill.
Yeah.
All right, but both runners manage reflex strats, and so they are both underground, while Plumeria will be underground shortly.
Yeah, so I lost a little bit of time there. Kind of screwing around, I think. You can see what a difference it makes to be prepared versus not being prepared.
Scythe, you're at full power now. How do you feel?
I'm at full power. Feels great. Feels
All right.
amazing. I didn't actually learn a new spell here, so 1800 would have been good too. But you know what? It's fine. So I guess now that we're both underground, we see a little bit of divergence. We have Possum going to Dwarf Castle, and then we have Plumeria going down to the Fame Arch. And so maybe this is where we're sort of in the mid game, right? We're looking for our bosses, and we need to sort of start clearing checks and getting this information as much as possible so that we can get to the end of the seed and sort of know where we're going. So Plumeria, what brings you down to Fame Arch?
Well, we already saw Karate is in the Golbez spot, so I'm not super keen on heading to Dwarf right away. But on the other hand, maybe the free item is worth something, and we can check the item shop. We already know where sirens are, and we have to go back for them, so we're not going to be doing a siren grind before coming here.
And Possum, why did you go to Dwarf?
Because I wanted to show something off.
Mm.
So even though the warp glitch I don't think is on, one of the cool things you can do is if you have a warp caster but you run completely out of MP, is that you can stay in the inn here in Dwarf Castle. And you can basically spam the warp spell from the inn, and you don't have to miss out on your warp glitch should it be on. So you can just go ahead and stay at that inn. I'm just going to use Tela in this case, cast warp a couple times. But just really wanted to show this off. It's not relevant for this, but that's why I wanted to prioritize Dwarf. So, no item, but that's okay. Just as a little thing to know if you're ever in a panicky situation there. And you're like, oh no, my warp glitch is messed up. It's not.
Yeah, the other... I think this strategy was perhaps more famously demonstrated in Wacky Races, where Commander Leonhard had to grind for warp on Palom with the something worth fighting for encounters in the Dwarf Castle chests. That was really fun.
That's
shout out to
fantastic.
Commander. All right, so jokes aside, Plumeria, how do you feel right now?
Vexed.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It was, yep. Mm-hmm.
Interesting tower, though.
Right, we have the tower of early game bosses, huh?
As if y'all thought it would do the job, Dwarf, please.
Whoa. All right, Possum. Well, that's unfortunate, but here we are. While you are in Tomra, what's the... you're just looking for good gear, cursed ring, things like that?
Just kind of stuff to power up what is pretty clearly a mage team at this point. I have not ruled out Fu and Friends. I already shopped there. So yeah, as far as that's concerned, like I'm just looking to build my team. So I went and picked up a couple of pieces of gear for them. Because I think that long term, a Rydia with a loadout such as this is pretty strong. That's a Palom plus level Rydia, and that's hard to get to in a lot of cases.
Yeah, this is best in slot gear, except for the weapon.
Yeah.
And really for, especially for any black magic casters, you want to stack wisdom on that caster, because every 4 wisdom gives you another multiplier. And for the really big spells like Leviathan, Bahamut, Nuke, all those multipliers do so much for your damage output. And as mentioned in chat, we have seen both Valvalis and CPU. So there aren't a ton of bosses that are really awful for a mage party.
But if you'd like a list of them, there's a flag set in the TPL called A Mage or Problem, which is all awful bosses for mages, and only mages in the sea. Sorry, Seth, continue.
No, actually, that was the whole point of me mentioning it.
Oh, okay.
That is, if you haven't, if you are in the TPL Season 1 club and you haven't voted for the next 2 weeks flag set, you should probably make that happen. I think right now a mage or a problem is in the lead, so if you want to see that flag set, make it happen. Anyway, Plumeria, how's Antline going?
Slow but steady. We got him. Nukes, Leviathans, takes care of it real quick. Alright.
So, at this point, are either of you two thinking of looting at all?
No.
Only if I need cash. I'll have to check how many sirens I need to buy.
I finished my looting in Tomra just now. I might pick up a box or two in Feymarch on my way down there, but...
Yeah, anything that's super free, I mean, I'd still take a heroine robe right now.
Makes sense. Realistically, once you've got some wisdom or willpower plus gear, mages are pretty okay. The heroine is good in case you need to start outputting some damage with Rosa, but I think for now our characters are sort of getting there.
You should call that Kane Tower.
Oh no, the key item checks have betrayed you.
Oh, that's where you got that tiara. Okay, well. And we have a vanilla job dwarf, by the way.
Wait, is it actually a farmer?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
I have so much junk to sell. I don't think anyone can equip... Oh, Rydia can equip knives. That's right.
Yeah, Plumeria is correct. That was definitely a vanilla job dwarf. Absolutely a farmer.
We need those. Alright. Nothing. Oh, I have so much cash, I don't need to loot at all.
Surprise!
That is one of the nice things about Distinct 5, whether you'll like it or not. You end up with so much stuff for people that aren't in your party, and especially with this party, Cecil, Kane, and Edge are probably the 3 most expensive characters to outfit, and we don't have them. So all their stuff sells for cold hard cash.
Yeah, all of the good weapons are like, you don't. They're just like they're for characters who aren't in the seed. So at this point, whatever. So so Possum climbing down the tower. We'll see where he goes next. Plumeria heading over to Dwarf Castle, looking to see what he finds there. And I think the commentary in chat is honestly appropriate. I find shopping one of the hardest parts of playing free enterprise. There's just so much time in menus, and I always have to think, well, do I want to sell this? But what if I need this? What if I need this? So maybe, I guess, if you have a little bit of time to sort of talk a bit about it, what is your shopping like principle? Like, what guides you through your shopping experience? Maybe start with Postmorpheus.
In a party like this, I want very specific mage gear because I know what my end game is going to look like. If I had Zerkers, I might be looking for Bacchus, but I don't, so I don't care. I already know where Sirens are. I already know where Hourglasses are. I don't need coffins with a team of 3 people with the ability to just remove vulnerable bosses. So that's kind of my thing, is I just want those good mage pieces of gear, because long term they're going to help out so much.
And so are you thinking about those, like, are you thinking about, okay, all this gear, like I'm looting on the overworld, but I'm thinking, okay, I'm just looting, and everything that isn't these specific pieces of gear, I'm just going to sell.
Pretty much. Like, I don't want to, like, long-term have karate keys or, you know, crappy rings or things like that. I want tiaras. I want Gaia hats. You know, I want the best in slot stuff. I want Stardust rods. Granted, those are going to be a lot harder to find. So, you know, I want the best in slot mage gear. Also because I have faith in myself being able to do Fu and Friends. And as a result, I know that I'm going to want certain things for Fusoya to make that succeed. I know where elixirs are. I know where sirens are. I haven't bought sirens because I'm still holding out for the potential idea that, you know, Fu and Friends is on the table, and that money could go to elixirs.
Right, that makes sense. You're even early on in the seed and into the mid game, you're thinking about the end game and thinking, okay, what are my options?
Yeah, and a lot of it really comes down to the fact that, you know, early on I was thinking, well, what about 1200 strats even? You know, that all of those types of things are on the table very early on.
All right, so Plumeria's through Dwarf, doing some shopping. Possumorpheus, how do you feel about that item you just picked up?
It exists.
It does exist.
It is going to dramatically change how I play the rest of the seed.
So much for Fu and Friends?
No, if anything, it puts it even more on the table.
Interesting.
Because Golbez in a lot of places is free. Dark Knight Cecil in a lot of places, I have Cure 3s and I bought an Elixir, I have a Cure 4 caster and Fu and I'm anchored. Probably free. Dr. Luge, probably free unless you're me from exactly yesterday. Like, it's one of those things where I look at these bosses and I say these are very favorable bosses. Like the worst possible spot for Golbez to show up. Now, this is me also being a Feymarch hater and just not even going down there.
Noted.
This is me just saying, well, the worst place I could run into Golbez at this point would be, in the Feymarch, specifically the Leviathan spot, or on the moon at Cave Bahamut, or at the Element spot. So I'm just going to hope that that's not where Golbez is, and kind of deal with it. So for me, not having 10 key items, not buying Sirens, I'm just kind of looking at this like, well, let's go poke around and do some things.
Makes sense. And I guess at this point now, it's sort of just trying to find the bosses you need to find.
Yeah,
because
and
at the end of the game, you need to do you need to do your objectives. So
yeah, it's also a matter of looking at just the raw numbers. And you and Plumeria are much smarter than I am with the raw numbers. I kind of have a cursory understanding of the math. Y'all actually understand it. Like, to me, though, I look at the numbers and I say 8 is bigger than 2. So from my perspective, like, I have 8 options that just opened up versus 2 options. I'm going to go play with 8 instead of play with 2. I don't think that particular bit of math is very difficult, but it's one of those where, that's going to drive my choices quite a bit.
Meanwhile, Plumeria, how do you feel about this fight you're in?
Has some tricky timing to it. I think I've got it down okay. I just have to hope everyone stays alive long enough.
And kind of the other thing about the Feymarch, for me at least, is I don't want to go down there until I know I can beat it. I don't want to double dip the Feymarch. So there are bosses down there that I don't know that I'd be able to get through. And so I'll avoid them.
We should be in the clear now. I'm really nervous about the next one, though.
Yeah, the next boss seems to be...
So it's going to be hard to explain why I reset out of that without being a little spoilery, but the reason why has to do with conservation of resources. There's a very specific resource that I need to be retaining if my endgame plans are Fu and Friends, and that particular fight would eat a lot of those resources. It not being required, although it is air quotes free, is a I will come back if needed check. In case anyone was wondering.
Oh, I have a plan.
Also, for the second time, I have forgotten to use a Soma drop on someone.
I mean...
Plus gameplay.
Yeah, so Soma drops, except when it's Fusoya and Tella, they're not really that great, but Soma drops on exactly those 2 characters is incredible. It is a very, very good way to make them just infinitely better in any single fight.
Okay, this plan will work. I just didn't quite set it up right.
All right, there's the Soma drop usage. You did it, Possum.
I sure did.
All right, let's see if this Planet Plumeria's pays off here.
Whew.
So, for reference, Cure 4 is a 0 delay spell, and so Fu can get it off much quicker than casting any of the other Cure spells. A Cure 3 item would have also worked.
Figured I'd save them for later if I need them.
Yeah, resource conservation is very good.
Not really what I was hoping for, but we move on.
Indeed. Possum, how do you feel about this fight?
It exists.
Yeah. Of course, Elvin doing a nice big chonky hammer hit there.
Yeah. Next door neighbor. Fun fight, though.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But yeah, I am in full face check mode, so we'll be doing solely boss hunts for the next little while. On this side, anyway.
I'm doing this check for a character, see if that's gonna help me out. I think I never equipped my charm rod, so I'll probably try to do that in battle here. Also need to return my battle speed to 3. 3 is a good speed for mage teams.
Agreed.
So what often happens is you'll play on battle speed 1 because the fights just go faster. There's less dead time in between ATB ticks. But for mages, you're always entering the black or white magic menu. And so if you're on battle speed 1, then you bleed ticks. Battle speed 3 is pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think some people play on battle speed 1 and just run buffer everything, but
It's tough with mages, and you can't run buffer everything on the moon, so it doesn't really... I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't see a good reason to do that.
You can run buffer, what, 3 of the 5?
Yeah. Well, 2 of the 5, I think.
I think
Oh,
you
the
can
two,
run
okay.
buffer. You can run buffer Mura Altar, I think, and like, yeah. I could look at this spreadsheet, but anyway.
I think like White Spear and Murra you can't. I know you can Cave Bahamut. I don't remember.
Masa, I think.
Yeah. And then Ribbon Room, it's like a 2-tick delay because it's like level 97 or something weird.
Yeah, I
don't
think
exactly
that's right.
remember.
So Vanilla Wyvern is level 99. Vanilla Paladin is level 98. So those are sort of you can't really run buffer those.
Oh no.
Yeah, Plague is level 96.
Ah.
So I think that's outside
no.
the delay.
So now I feel like I made a big mistake.
This is what we might call a mistake.
Uh-oh.
It's possible that it isn't. We'll
It's
say that
possible.
much.
Doesn't feel great.
All right, Possum Morpheus, what you doing?
Setting up an intricate web of save scums. And then channeling my inner Martin Broadcloak.
Uh-oh.
So are you in free and face or just face?
Kind of a mix.
Hmm.
It's mainly just face. Also, the free that I found, I didn't enjoy the reward, so...
So to be fair, when we say free or free in face, we're talking about checking the bosses. So free in face is sort of saying, okay, I'm gonna face check bosses, but if they're free or very quick, then I'll take them out and see if I get a key item from them or something. If you're just checking, if you're just face checking, then even if it is a very free boss, you're like, nope, I'm done. So here, Possum is going to this place, which is a check. Definitely an interesting check. I'm curious about what else he chooses to do while he's here. All right, well, thanks to that web of save scums, I guess.
Oh, well that's an item.
That is an item. Unfortunately, it also is, 7.4 sirens?
Something like that.
So this is actually an interesting question at this point. We're an hour and 12 in. No one is in go mode yet. Spoilers. How do both of you feel? Do you feel ahead, behind, even? Can we start with you, Possum?
Yeah, for me, like, Plumeri and I have raced enough that I would feel like we'd be very close. I don't know who'd be ahead. But we play similarly enough that we're going to make a lot of the same checks that are typically going to be mathematically driven. The only bit of kind of forced divergence, if you will, is my conscious decision to fade the Feymarch. But otherwise, I would expect that we're very close, and see kind of where the cookie crumbles from there. I wouldn't feel ahead or behind, I don't think. Maybe a little behind because I got the food late, but the overworld wasn't bad, and it looked like from the spells that Fu got, he didn't really get anything amazing super early. And he wouldn't have helped back attack Val anyway.
Whoops. Spell power is a little stronger here than I...
And also, I finally
remember.
get to live my dream of talking over music, so eat it, chat.
And I have no idea that music is even going on, so...
See?
Well, now we know.
I'm gonna have to reset out of this fight and do it again. But at least I can set up for it properly.
Yeah, this fight is always one where you want to... it's easier if you know ahead of time that it's coming.
As for feeling behind or not, I had to do that Rubicon fight twice. I've had to do this fight twice now. So it's been a little bit of a struggle for me. I would not feel ahead. Especially against someone of Possum's caliber.
Ute. That ends that expedition.
I'm honestly still trying to figure out what my Z fight looks like. Is it going to be Fu and Friends, or am I going to do a full grind?
Yeah, because you both know where sirens are. They are available. It's whether or not that's worth the time compared to doing a slightly slower but doable Fu and Friends fight.
Yeah, so part of the putting off of the Fey March, like, I don't know what's down there, obviously, but I can tell you that that's going to help a little bit. So...
This fight should go a lot faster. This time.
Yeah, I think you got this one.
Spoiler alert, though, if you crush the entrance to Fey March, they're not going to appreciate it.
Yeah, all of the chests in the Feymarch cave become the Warriors box. It's just like 13 Warriors boxes.
I mean, honestly, that'd be amazing. That's a grind.
I mean, it's a little bit of a slow grind. You might as well just do eggs at that point.
44k a piece, Quake? Get an item to boot? I don't know.
Yeah, but it's 2 standard items. Anyway, so Possum is visiting the Feymarch. Exciting.
I got a magma key. I can get underground now. Yay!
I'm glad that one of us made that meme happen. I saw it and was like, do I want a meme? No, I don't want a meme.
Well, you could have, but my conscious decision to fade this place would have resulted in a bit of a spoiler.
Yeah.
I really wanted that free key item, so that's why I went down there. And, well, I'm in a bit of a pickle, I think.
Let's see.
So Possum now has the info. He has seen the Feymarch bosses. Plumeria Knight has already done both of these bosses. And so we'll see what Possum does with a much different set of HP values.
Yeah, I use Cure 3s and I win the fight.
Yeah, so in this strategy, instead of having to sort of do a little bit of agility manip, Sid just has 2200 HP. And so if you throw 2 Cure 3s on him, he survives the fight. He doesn't get to life anyone up, but here we are.
Well, turns out fading the Feymarch was not the answer.
Fading Sheila 1 was also not the answer.
Fair play.
So, similar boats, but I think your boat's gonna come in first.
Oh, we'll see.
What do we get here anyway? Aha! But it's just that simple. Imagine that.
And now the Merry Knight has found the Darkness Crystal. Sometimes Darkness Crystal is just a Sheila 1, and you feel bad for having faded Sheila. I think we've all been there.
I mean, when you've got boss hunts and character hunts, it is a bit of a long check for something that has no bosses and no characters. That's kind of why I faded it.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's a long walk down there, and then you just keep flying. You can keep flying, and then you spent 2 minutes on something that may or may not actually pay out.
So now I have to choose what to do with this information now. Obviously, the first thing we do is check the character.
Meanwhile, let's see, Possum, what you doing?
Running down the lunar subterranean again?
Yeah, yeah. So I guess at this point, we probably should talk about the Zeromus fight a little bit more. With this party, are you grinding?
No.
You've been talking about Food and Friends, this sounds like a no.
Yeah, so I have a nice stash of Starveil still. I'm just gonna slam BS6 and basically do 3-person, potentially 4-person if Rydia lives. She's gonna be at about 850 health once I give her an apple. So she may or may not live. I don't need her damage, but it helps. The goal is to have about a 6.5 minute Z fight. Maybe a little less because Fu's got an adamant armor, a charm rod, a rune ring. He has to have a ninja. Well, no, he doesn't have to have a ninja hat anymore. He can go back to a Gaia hat because adamant armor makes him go burr. So he's going to have a lot of offense. Basically going to be like Palom level, which is pretty rare, actually.
Yeah,
as far as how much damage he's going to do.
And so when we say a 6.5 minute Zeromus fight, that's in the grand scheme, like the overall picture of Zeromus fights, it's not Edward strats, but it's not necessarily the fastest possible fight. A full reflex strats fight does, you can do it in under 3 minutes if you have a good party for it. This party, I don't think you would manage. You would be around three and a bit. However, you would have to grind, and so Possum's choice is to is to skip the grind and just do Food and Friends and not have to worry about the amount of time it takes to do that. Just execute the 6.5 minute Zeromus fight, call it good.
Yeah, and part of the reason behind this also is the fact that back attacks exist, and if I were to do eggs, which would be air quote free, I'd get like 6 back attacks and 10 eggs, so I just don't want to deal with it.
I mean, they don't always happen, but I guess they often happen.
I did make a small mistake here, though. I should have put the assassin knife and then ninja hat on Rydia. It would have put her to RA1. And I would have had an extra actor moving very rapidly, but it's okay. We'll still be fine. The big thing is just making sure that our actor in slot 2, which is the top slot, is at least 2.5 times the agility plus 1 of my anchor, which is Tella, and 9. Fu with an adamant armor, more than enough there. So we can crystal with Tella first action. Fusoya throw the... And then we just start doing our damage. So the goal is to finish
correct you there, Possum?
at like 90 minutes. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so full reflect with like a team of RA5 mages is totally doable, as long as you have everyone sorted correctly.
Yes.
Basically, as the turns tick, and as they take actions, they will all buffer each other's, basically the Q, and then it sort of acts like a turn-based game, even though you do have to have a modicum of, you have to be pretty much RA5, but it works.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of technical information about the ATB system and figuring out the battle stuff. You can find that on our wiki, which someone will type in chat. I guess that was me. Also, I completely skipped the whole spiel. Something whose butt. That's Zeromus, even though it doesn't look like Zeromus. I love this sprite. It's awesome. Anyway, so Possum is getting into his Zeromus fight, setting up Veils, setting up Silkweb, getting ready to start doing some damage and make sure that you don't get blasted by unnerved Big Bangs. Meanwhile, Plumeria, what are you looking at for like your trip down the LST? Just bosses, or?
Yeah. So obviously, I have every character location available. I know that Rosa is in the Giant, but it would be a lot more convenient if Lugae was just down here, because then I could just walk right to Zeromus. And if Lugae's not here, we just do the Giant and get the objective that way.
Makes sense. I think.
Thank goodness.
I think you're happy that Lugae is on the moon.
I'm glad I don't have to do the Giant. Yeah. Sometimes you do Giant first. Sometimes but there's 5 bosses on the moon, so it's a pretty good bet with how few we have left. But it's about a coin flip, basically.
So, Plumeria, I have some bad news for you.
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was, it's fine.
Wait, sorry. You know what I'm gonna say? I'm not sure you do.
What's the bad news? Did I skip something?
So you're going to be in go mode once you bop Lugae here. But right at the beginning of the seed, you entered Watery Pass and did not take the free character.
Holy crap! I already had her. Why should I take her?
Exactly. So now,
okay, well, I think everyone will learn a valuable lesson from this.
We've all been there.
Yeah, so we've all been there. For those of you watching, this is, it's not like, I guess what I want to say, this sort of thing happens to everyone. So I wouldn't, if it does happen to you, don't put yourself down about it. What's kind of fun is, realistically, you needed the Darkness Crystal anyway, because you couldn't find the pass. So here we are. It's just you did a little bit of, you did all the Fame Arch and Baron, which was fun. Possum, guess where Golbez was?
Well, you said Baron, so I mean, by process of elimination.
Yeah. In fact,
I really want that out.
yeah. So this is sort of an unfortunate scenario.
Phew.
Did Fu only take one roll?
He hit quad 9s on a nuke.
Oh, did he? Woo! Spicy. Let's
My
go.
guy.
So this is what happens when you throw, like, mages don't
Best
have a
in
lot
slot.
of wisdom. Yeah, like mages don't have a lot of wisdom gear in their body slot, except for the adamant armor. That extra 10 wisdom over the Sork robe is very good.
I'm gonna take a minute to review my party here because this is gonna be spicy.
Alright, and I am done with actions other than Fu throwing nukes now. This one is going to be very close to killing if it doesn't kill, and then the next one will kill.
You get poison walk. Yay.
Yeah! We just need stairs to go with it.
No.
What do you mean, no?
Okay, like, I guess I don't mind it, but
So Possum, when I said I didn't pick up Rosa, were you thinking, oh no, Lumeria,
I couldn't say
what are you
anything.
doing?
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Just curious
I-
if you were thinking it.
I think we were all thinking that except you.
Uh,
But
that's
again,
okay.
it happens.
this nuke should do it. Yeehaw. GG.
GG Possum.
Yeah, that was
GG.
right on the button for 6.5 minutes, basically. That is exactly how I wanted the Z fight to go. I probably could have gone, because Fu has an adamant armor, a lot more aggressively. And maybe gone like battle speed 3 and done like solo Fu reflex strats. But this is safe. And I'm very comfortable doing this. So stay in your comfort zone during races. Practice the more wild stuff outside of races is how I usually look at it.
So Plumeria, how do you? What's your plan here?
We're gonna go full reflect Fu and friends. I don't have the capability to sustain a long Z fight here, so we're gonna have everybody help out. We've got battle speed 6. Didn't quite get all the star veils off, which suggests my agility is not that great. So I'm gonna have to amend what I said earlier. For these low-level strats, apparently you do need the agility to be higher.
So I guess we'll see how that goes. It should be similar to, but perhaps not quite the same as Possum's set of actions. The interesting part, of course, is that Plumeria is going in with a much lower level party.
Mhm.
Very, very much a Fu and helpers. Well, they're friends more than helpers. Let's say that.
Yeah, I know that on my way down to Sheila 1, I took a couple of trap chests as well. Oh, I hit the number. Let's go. The perfect number of chests. Happy. So, like, I had a couple extra levels from the Sylph traps as well, since it was just easy RA1 Fu stuff.
I forget. Did you have 10 key items at that point?
Nope, sure didn't. My 10th key item was the Adamant Rock from the Twin Harp.
Ah, yes. The Twin Harp.
Yes. Which I guess we can go put the music back on now. See, we left a save there intentionally, by the way. Let people jam out while Plumeria is expertly fighting Z.
Counting.
Yes, the Zeromus fight is often an exercise in mental arithmetic or using a calculator.
Math.
Oh,
It's
this
being
song.
done on
This
stream.
song is a good. This is a good song.
Oh yeah, Xenocat did great work on the Okami stuff.
I mean, has she done not great work on anything? Like
Yeah, Poison Stairs is not in the song
that.
pool, so
That wasn't Xenocat. Blame Calamity for that one.
That's fair.
But yeah, I think one thing I said on a recent restream that I was doing an interview for was once you've got the Zeromus fight in a place where you don't really need to consider your actions in the sense of like this is mechanical, a lot of it really is just counting.
Yeah. They're especially on the low level strats, the Fu and Friend strats and things like that. You very much so are going to have math involved. I know there's the old meme of no math on stream, but let's face it, we're doing math every single time we play this game. Whether it's the odds of where our key items are, how much damage we're doing to Zeromus, where our HP breakpoints are. All of those are constantly being done in the background of your mind, whether you choose to believe it or not. It's a very math-heavy game. So, counting is part of that.
Yeah, so I believe Plumeria has correctly counted up to about 41k, because I think it's 42k is the threshold for Zeromus to refill health. So Plumeria is now tossing crystals and bouncing nukes in order to get the nerfs to happen. Let's see. No Rydia. Rydia did not survive. That's okay. It is a little bit unfortunate.
This is gonna be close. I need some high rolls.
I think Fu also needs a couple more nuke casts, huh?
Yeah.
And Fiery correcting me in chat, it is 45k. I swear I've read the Zeromus script many times.
Well, the thing is, like, if you go back to Zilch's 1200 strats, you stop at 16 vampires typically, because that puts you right at 41k, and it assumes that you're not tipping that way. And so we just kind of have 41k ingrained, even though the real number is 45. It's just a safety barrier to not tip, because there's nothing worse than doing 110,000 of reflect strats. Ask me how I know.
Yeah, I had to do the reflect in case Fu high rolled there, because I was at like 36 or so.
Yeah, and to note, Fusoya is doing this without an adamant armor on Plumeria's side, so a little bit less gear. But okay, so this is the next shake. I think
really need this timing to work out.
I believe in the you that believes in Fu.
I don't believe in Fu. Oh, okay. The reflect did it. I thought it might.
Nice.
Well, it was closer than I think it should have been.
So Golbez was in Baron then, I assume?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
In the basement.
Then you did all of the Fey March, so you did the Turtle.
Yes.
You did all
Turtle
of Baron.
was not bad, though.
So, like, had you just had the Rosa, I mean, we would have been awful close, my friend.
It would have been a lot closer, yeah.
Yeah, I
But
think
I'd have had much. I don't know. It would have been
I think
interesting.
you two would have been in the fight at the same time. I think Possum had a little bit of an edge.
Especially with that
advantage,
adamant armor.
Yeah, but I think you would have saved all the time in the Luge fight.
Yes,
for sure.
that was slow.
Oh yeah, and Fiery brings a good point up. So Golbez was in the basement, but the
Yes.
the boss on the Baron's throne was the vanilla gauntlet.
Yeah,
And so that was kind of a pain in the butt.
that's rough.
And so that was Plumeria's I think I made a mistake comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but like regardless, GG's to both of you for getting through that seed. Slightly different ways of getting through the seed, but you both did a pretty good job.
And let me just point out, skipping that Rosa, that's kind of why we practice. That's why you have to practice when you're preparing for a tournament. Because just trying to remember all the flags, just sight reading them, is pretty difficult. And so, if I play this same flag set again, I bet I don't make that mistake.
Yeah, because we're always like in a tournament setting, often the flags. And the one day we're going to get a mystery tournament, I don't know. But for most of our tournaments, they've been fixed flag sets or one or two flag sets to remember. And so at that point, you can sort of say, aha, I got my objectives. I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I think from the tournament perspective, which is the purpose of this league, is to kind of explain the thought process behind everything. That, Plumeria pointed out an exceptional point there, that as you're prepping for a tournament, there are going to be hurdles and there are going to be challenges. And each time you play a flag set, your skill level at that flag set and in Free Enterprise increases. You may not see the results immediately. Your times may go up instead of down. But it doesn't mean you're not learning and getting better. You can have real bad runs of seeds. Everyone has them. Before Adamant Cup, I had the worst run of seeds I think ever. Couldn't get out of the Scythe Marshal and Flurry 14, 27 out of 28, mindset. Couldn't do it to save my life.
Out of 28, excuse me.
And it all flipped in a tournament. It was incredible. But you learn from all of those seeds. You execute as well as you can. And you just focus on everything that you can possibly scoop up knowledge-wise as you're preparing for a tournament. So, I don't really have much more to say as far as that. I thank everybody who came out for the async in week 1. We had 32 people posting VODs, and that was over 60 hours of quality video to review and learn from. Absolutely blown away. Thank you everyone who participated in that. And of course, thank you everyone who joined us tonight. Those who are, in the crowd watching, those who did the async or asyncs, Scythe and Plumeria, thank you so much for joining me in the booth. This was amazing. So happy to have done this with y'all. Yeah, that's kind of all I got. So if y'all have anything else to add, please do.
Plumeria, I'll let you take some final thoughts, and then I'll show us where we're going.
Sure. Just big shout out to Possum Morpheus for running this league. It's a great idea. I think we all could benefit from some tournament preparation and just kind of understanding kind of how it all works and how everybody thinks. And, there's tons of different strategies that we can all learn from. So I'm really excited to see, kind of what I learned. And yeah, it's a great league. So thanks a lot. Thanks for having me here today.
Yeah, I think the one last comment I'll make on the league is that I sometimes don't really watch a lot of runners, especially top-level runners. And so a lot of the time I've been trying to sort of read and then implement what I'm reading. And sometimes it's nice to just see it happen live and hear someone's thought process. And so even if you don't always watch a lot of streams, it's definitely a good idea to check it out and give give your thumbs a little bit of a break, and let your eyes sort of help you figure out a little bit more about what's going on. But with that said, I think we're done here for tonight. But if you are still interested in watching for Enterprise, the night's not over. So we're going to be raiding Alakazam Trainer. They're a newer player. They're playing a Pink Puff League Seed. As a reminder, we've got... so today is Saturday for most of us. Some of us, anyway. But next week, we've got our community races, as well as I think we have one or two club restream races. So if you're interested in running the community races, we'd love to have you, or joining any of our clubs, or even joining the restream team. Maybe the tournament preparation league is sort of special, but many of our community races are sort of open for any of our restream team members to give a shot tracking, or running commentary, or even doing the restream. So if that is interesting to you, come join us. For now, I'm Scythe Marshall. For all of us here on Free Enterprise, have a good rest of your day.